Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have an ASUS laptop. This one is an ASUS ROG or ASUS ROG GL551 model. The exact model for this one is a GL551 JM-DH71. That information can be found on the bottom of the laptop on the sticker right over there under the serial number right there. It will tell you the complete model number. But the base model is a GL551J. Alright, and in this video I'm going to take you over on how to open it up and how you can repaste, clean up the CPU thermal paste on these models. And this one, the client says that they never open it up and they never clean it, and this is pretty old, like a 6-7 years old PC. It's like an iCore 7 4th gen. So I'm going to take you on a step-by-step how to open it up and how you can clean up the fan, the heatsink, and repaste. Right, I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using. Tool number one is a good screwdriver set. I'll be using an iFix screwdriver set, as they have one of the best screws out there. You're going to be using a Phillips number one, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, Phillips number one from this tool set. Also, if you get the Pro set, they will include you with an opening tool, some tweezers, a few other stuff. But if you don't want to get the basic set for the opening tool, I'll be using a guitar pick. Metallic guitar picks are suitable to opening cases and covers. Curved tweezers, it comes handy. Plastic spatula, that's good. And alcohol, 99% isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol. This is very important. And the other one is a good workshop towel. Don't use any microfiber towel or anything else. Use workshop towel. The reason is because as soon as you put an alcohol on the workshop towel and you rub over the components, this thing will rip apart very easy and will not damage the capacitors, anything on the board. So that's why I always say use this one. Don't use microfiber towels, as they can get tangled on the components and you can damage them. A good thermal paste. I'll be using an Arctic MX4. You can use an MX6. If you want to go overboard, you can go with Thermal Grizzly, Cryonaut. Thermal paste is one of the best brands. MX4 is really suitable for this brand too. MX6, whichever you want. Check yourself, but I'll be using an MX4. Alright, with all this set, let's get into it. So first thing first, let's remove the battery by pulling the trigger to one side. Remove it. We're going to remove the service cover by removing two screws. These are long screws, so remove them, keep them to one side. There we have it. Now we want to slide the bottom cover toward the front a little bit and then lift it up. Put it on the side. You can take it outside. Use a toothbrush is another tool that we're going to be using to clean up this dust mesh right over here. They do get really filled up because the air goes through here, passes over the RAM to the fan, and from the exhaust side comes out. I'll call it exhaust because it's just exit of the air, hot air. Alright, so first thing first, we're going to remove the hard drive in here. Remove 3 screws on the caddy. The caddy is the bracket that holds the hard drive in place. So remove the 3 screws that hold the hard drive in place. The fourth one goes down with the cover. So let's put these 3 screws that are the same size. Slide it towards the left and bring it up. I'll put it right beside the screw so I know the screws belong to this one over here. Right. Next, we are gonna disconnect the. We could go ahead and disconnect the Wi-Fi cable in here. Just lift it up. I'm not too sure if we need to, but I'll do it for the heck of it. The speaker cable's down here. You want to gently wiggle it around and pull it up. Leave it like that. Now we're going to remove the screws. We're going to start from the back corner screws. These should be the long screws. Medium size, I would say. You put them right there. Under the battery screws. I believe these are the same size, yeah. So all this is the same size. The screw in the middle, this is for the caddy for the DVD drive. This is a short one. I'll leave it right underneath. So you can slide down the DVD drive, bring it out, put it to one side. I'll put the screw right beside it. So I know that one is for that. 2 screws right under the DVD when you slide it out. These are the short ones. I'll put it right beside that one. Now, let me see if I missed anything up there. No, all good. Remove the screw right there in the corner, the 2 in the mid, and we're gonna remove the screw for the Wi-Fi. Oh, let's just leave it there. So remove the 3 screws right in the front end. And the 4th one right here. Alright, now that we remove those ones, make sure that you haven't missed any. Alright. Now we're gonna grab the opening tool. We're gonna open up the laptop a little bit. And so you guys can see, I'm gonna stick this one between the bottom cover palm rest and bottom cover. I'm gonna just wiggle around. You wanna hear those click sounds. That's what you wanna hear. Alright, so you wanna lift it up. Just wiggle it left and right. You wanna hear those click sounds. Those are the clips are getting loosened up. And there we go. I'm putting it down, lift it up a little bit. In the corner back here, a little more work. Right, so I did this side. I'm gonna go towards the right side. Just wiggle it around. There we go. I can lift it up. Alright, so I'll bring it up like this, and then I'm gonna keep both of them, one finger in between. Open up the screen. Lift it up like that. And you wanna lift it up gently and bring it to the left side, because the cable for the screen is right over here. You need to pull this one upward to disconnect it. Just pull it straight. Don't yank it sideways. Okay, let's put it down there. So there we have it. So once you open it up 45-degree angle, pretty much, you want to bring it like this. And this jack for the LCD goes in flat push down. So there we have it. Now we can lift up the palm rest, and the motherboard are attached together. So there we have that one right there. It is kind of dirty. With a toothbrush, soft toothbrush, you can clean the speakers, but be careful with it. You can, if it is really old, you can damage them. I'll really just blow some air through it. Don't touch them. The rest you can clean it. All right. So we're gonna remove the heatsink and the fan and clean it up. So let's put the screen and the bottom cover. I'll clean this outside, blow some air into this one, so we can clean this one. Now we'll be back after a while. All right, down here we got the palm rest, and the motherboard right on top. So first thing first, you want to disconnect the fan. Just pull the jack upward, remove the screw. There's 3 screws that hold the fan in place. The screws are the same size. Lift up the fan. Probably has a little gaffer tape holding it, so we already loosen up. Leave it like that. Remove 4 screws for the CPU or GPU, and 4 screws for the CPU. Alright, once we have that one removed, there's one more right in here. Remove that one too. Right, now we don't want to grab it from here. You want to grab it in the middle, but you don't want to bend the tubing. Just lift it up gently. Oh, there's one more screw right in here. So there's 4 and 2 extras. Remove them. Bring them up. And there's a gaffer tape, as I told you, in this side. So this thermal paste, it is pretty dry. It's not even a thermal paste anymore. They do have on the VRAM chips and other component the thermal putty, and this thermal putty actually is okay. They don't get expire. You can change the thermal putty if you want to, or if you don't have it, just grab it from the side and push it towards the middle, because it just got squished on the sides. You can do that, and there's enough on the side. So I'll try to look for thermal putty. I'll leave a link for a good thermal putty in a video description in case you want to purchase yours. Just put enough, like 1 drop goop on top. It's just going to push itself to the side. Right now we're gonna clean up the thermal paste on both sides. This kind of dried out. But before we do that, let's go ahead and remove the fan. So just pull it backward like that, and you can see this dirty heatsink right there is all clogged up. All this clogging right there. We need to clean up. We're gonna take it outside, blow some air, use that toothbrush to just clean it gently. Even in here, use that toothbrush to clean up the fan system inside and everything else. And I'll be back once I clean the dust from the covers. And then we're gonna continue with replacing the thermal paste. All right, I took it outside and I cleaned up the fan system with a toothbrush. And I just bend this one over, use a toothbrush and blow some air, nice and clean. The heatsink is not gonna focus, nice and clean right there. All the vents are opened. So if you remove the gaffer's tape, just get a gaffer's tape. They are really good. And put a gaffer's tape on top, but there is no need to, as you can just bend it like that. All right, and I clean up the palm rest, the cover. So now we're gonna remove the thermal paste. So we're gonna grab a little bit of the worktop towel, soak it in an alcohol. You can put I see that they put a Kapton tape around the CPU. I'm gonna remove it. You don't need to, it's for protecting the capacitors. You can put it at the end, but no need to. So you're gonna put a little bit on top, use it on the crystal spatula. Be careful with the capacitor, you don't want to scrub on them, just do gently. As long as you clean the crystal die, you're fine. You don't have to go crazy on the sides. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna rub. You see, the panel gets ripped apart, but the components on the CPU does not get damaged. All right. There we go. You don't need to clean up the components on the sides and stuff like that. Those are the lower. So grab the Kapton tape, cover the component, make sure it's not covering the crystal die. There we go. All right. Now we're gonna do the GPU. I'm just gonna use the same one. Just rub on top. All you need to do is clean the crystal die of the CPU and GPU. Make sure there's no dust. Once you finish with that one, grab a clean part. Just gently do it on the crystal right there, and there we go. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the heatsink. Just put your hand right underneath. You don't want to bend the pipe. So just rub it. There's a little discoloration. It's not thermal paste. All right. There we go. Nice and clean. Now we're going to apply the thermal paste. We're going to put one line right on the CPU. Be generous. These are not conductive. If you put enough, it's going to get pushed on the sides of the crystal die. Just one drop in here because it's a square. And I'll put a one line on the CPU. All you want to do, you want to bring the heatsink over. Or bring it over. Set it down. And put the screws right now. Make sure you always cross screw them. The heatsink, always do cross each other. Don't go clockwise or counterclockwise. Always you want to screw them across each other. So I'm going to do one like that, and then I'm going to go on the CPU all the way to farther corner. There's a tiny numbers on them. You can follow the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, but as long as you cross screw them, you're fine. The numbers are there to pretty much making sure that you cross screw them. So that way the thermal paste evenly spreads around the crystal die. So put the 4 screws on each and the 2 screws for tiny, useless heat pipe right in here. This is just holding the motherboard pretty much. It's not pulling anything. Alright. Once we're done with that, make sure you always connect the fan. Just push down the jack right on the motherboard. Once we're done with that one now, we're gonna, these 3 screws were for the fan. So put the 3 screws for the fan. Pretty much we're almost done. We're gonna grab the bottom power and the screen. Grab the rest. Just got a slide I can grab it. There we go. I'll put that one in there. I'll put this one right on top. Now I'm gonna connect this jack straight right in the connector. There we go. Now make sure this cable has to lay down flat right on the groove right in there. Just as you close it down, make sure you just assign it right in there. Oh, this is kind of awkward position right there. And then you want to bring it down and close up the screen. Bring it down. And you want to push the corner. You want to hear those click sounds. Those are the ones that you want to hear. Once I put this one down, I'm going to right away put the screws in the corner. These are the hinge screws and the palm rests for the corner. Those are the important ones. And then we're going to work on the rest. You can go ahead once for all. Just put the 2 under the battery. And there we go. Alright, the speaker cable, I'm just going to jam the cables right underneath here. Grab the jack, just push it right in there. The Wi-Fi cable, just push down, align them over the connector, and just snaps in. There we go. They just make a tiny click. Put the 2 screws right under the DVD drive. Slide in the DVD drive or the optic drive. Put a single screw. Put the screws right in the front, 3 of them. One right almost there by the speaker jack, and 3 of them right in the front row. Next, you want to grab your hard drive. You want to bring it down, set it down with an offset position, like that. Bring it in 45 a little bit, slide it in the connector, and push it down, and put the 3 screws except the one in there. There's a tiny arrows. Put the tiny arrow screws. Remember, the last screw goes from the cover. There we go. To finish it off, slide down or slide upward the bottom, the service cover, and put the last screw. And again, I hope you guys like this video and helped you guys out. If you want to support the channel, you can click that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. If you have any question or request, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And this is how you service and clean your ASUS ROG GL551 laptop.